Okay, guys, what we'll do, we'll kick off. Thanks for the feedback there. What we're going to go through today is probably, this is different from last time. If anyone attended last time, we had some technical problems, but for the next half hour, what we're going to go through is, I'll show you, we've got some template tricks, which I've got open now. The next thing we're going to go through after that, we'll have a look at what I call ground zero modeling. So ground zero modeling helps you downstream with larger assemblies. And then after that, we'll go through to some BIM export tools. So over here, I've got an example open using our BIM export tools, because what we're finding now, we're getting a lot of feedback from customers that need to transition from one bit of software to the next, communicating ideas and designs in between two different disciplines normally. So we get that a lot. So I'll explain a few tools that we can utilize here. And I've just got an example here. So let's kick off. Feel free to throw in any questions as we go. I'll try and answer them. If not, I'll catch up with you at the end of it. No problem. It only goes for half an hour, but if you like, I'll hang on for a little bit longer. So the first thing we're going to do is, folks, if you're following along at home or at work, let me know too, and I'll slow it down a bit if you like. What I've got open here is a template that I've used in industry for a long time. It helps you get started with the actual design. So I've got two different ones. This one is more for a 3D part. If you have a look here, I'll show you what I've got on. This is a template that I open, and it opens up like this already in sketch mode with the origin planes turned on, if you see those three there. Right, so what we'll do, I'll take you through on how to actually set one of these up. Also, I guess being an old AutoCAD user, I like to work from the top. So if you like that as well, you can reset that if you like. So stick your hand up if you're an AutoCAD user transitioning, or if you're coming from other software. Throw in a question, no problem. Nathan, let's have a look, hang on. Raya. All right, Nathan, yeah, just jump in if you need to. Okay, so what I'll do now, let's go and actually make this together. So the reason why I do this, if you have a look at our part, the actual origin planes travel through the center of the job. See, 1, 2, 3, that's what we're going to achieve. Obviously, depending on the job, you can change that around a little bit to suit yourself, but this is just a good kickoff template. So what I've done, I'll go File, New. Just let me know if there's a bit of a lag. We'll go click on New. We'll do this from scratch. You can see the one that I've created already before. And the other one over here, if you guys and girls do sheet metal, I've created a sheet metal one. If you have a look, it's just one plane turned on because sheet metal is a little bit less complicated than parts. So what I use is I start from using a standard template, which has got nothing, okay? So I'll click on that and we'll go create. Down the bottom here. Obviously, I'm in the metric folder. English is imperial units. We don't want that today, so we'll go create. So that gives you a fat load of nothing, okay? So the first thing I do is we'll cruise over to the origin folder and turn on what's required for the template. So if you're doing a lot of round shaft work or round objects, you could probably utilize the x-axis, okay, which is a common one. You can just see the green on the screen there. So if I turn that on as an example, you can see that here. Excuse me. But in this case, we're going to use more of a 3D part. So if you like, if you can select the top one, hold down the Shift key, grab all of them, and we'll open those up. Just click on the visibility tab. That was a right click that I've just done there. And if you have a look, the Z-axis down here is pointing right back at us. So if you're an AutoCAD user or an old tradie like me, you might want to be looking from the front, sorry, from the top, not the front, because this program likes to look from the front. So if you feel like you'd like to change that, no problem. You don't have to do this if you like it. Cruise down here, set current view as top. So what you'll see is the view cube will set itself looking from the top down, and the UCS down the bottom here stays the same. So that's really how it works in reality. So that matches up if you like that, no problem. The other thing you can do as well is if you'd like to set your home position, which is really helpful, I find, in complicated jobs, or if you're working on something with lots of angles on it, you can actually go set your current view as home as well. So you can go fit to view. So if I click on home, it'll actually zoom in on that face if you like that, or you can just go fixed distance, no problem. The next step is we need to create a sketch on this plane here. So if you hover over that edge, right, that is the one I'm going to sketch on, which is going to be the XY plane. So you can do a sketch many ways. You can literally click on the sketch tool, but if you like a shortcut, you can click on the edge. And this is the new icon for 2020. Great sketch. Let's do that. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is actually add 2 crosshairs across here, because at the end of the day, your sketch actually has to be constrained to something. So you can utilize the center point, which is fantastic as well. I do that often, but today we'll use some crosshairs. So turn on construction. We're going to project the geometry on this one and this one here. So that gives us some crosshairs so we can put dimensions and sketch on it on this plane. Right click OK. So at this point in time, we need to save it as a template, right? So over here, it will bark at me because I'm still in a sketch, so, but we'll just ignore that. We don't mind, so we'll go File, New, cruise all the way down to Save As, and Save Copy as a template. Now, this is a pretty trick idea because basically it's saving you time. Many of the places that I visit doing Inventor and other bits and pieces, people have actually saved half-made designs as a template. So if you've got something that you do over and over again, so maybe it could be like a sheet metal bracket where the holes change or something like that, or the thickness, whatever, you could even save those things out as a template if you're not utilizing Vault and the Content Center. So, but that's okay. We can talk about that another time. So we'll go Save, Copy as Template. It's going to say you cannot save part 7. That's fine. We'll just go OK, right? Because we're saving it as a template. Now you want to pay attention to this. I'll just shrink this up a little bit. What you've got here is the path for where the template is out of the box. So if you've installed it on your PC, your templates will be living in here unless your CAD administrator has changed it. We want to go to the metric folder or find out at work which folder they've got their templates in if they let you do this. Metric folder, and you can see this is my sheet metal one. We'll use our standard millimeter part, so we'll override that one. Go OK, save. Yep. And there we have it. So the next step, let's check to see if it works, right? So close that off. It'll say, do you want to save it? We don't want to save it as a part, we don't care. So we'll just say no, right? And let's check it from scratch. So I'll go File, New, and let's try our standard one. Let's open it up, Create. So let's check, see if I've done my job correctly. So I've got top view in this case because I chose it, which is fine. If I click on the Home button, it'll zoom in for me, so it's nice and close. And my XYZ coordinates all set up, ready to go. If I'm going to machine a part, 3D print a part, or manufacture a part, no problem. And I can literally start modeling now because I know I'm already in sketch mode, so I don't have to create a sketch. I'm already doing that, so that saves me a whole bunch of clicking per day. I'll just throw down something to look at, and we'll constrain it. Another hot trick too, you don't have to always click on here if you don't want to. You can also use the center point, or you can constrain it this way. So let's do that, like that. And if you wanted to, you can go from here to there. Let's do that. There you go, it's a quick way of doing it. And we'll just throw a dimension on it. Notice also when I'm putting the dimensions on, I'm not clicking on the edges, I'm just doing it on the flat. So that'll help contain the job as well. And we'll cheat a little bit. We'll pick this one and we'll go Shift 8, which is times 2. Okay, there we go. There we've got our part. We'll go finish. So within seconds, you know, you can literally have something modeled up. The other thing too, talking about our ground zero modeling, if you have a look, by default, it likes to go one way, which is fine if you have an immovable object behind what you're doing. But if it's never been modeled or made before, what I tend to do for safety's sake is actually extrude it both ways. So if it's got to fit something else or it's got to go into an assembly, because you've modeled everything from the center, you've got the option to use these X and Y planes as constraints in an assembly. Right? So we'll just go, okay. Cool. Right, so on from there, let's have a look at one I've already done because we're time poor. So we'll go ground zero modeling. There's our drawing of it. We'll come back to that. There it is there. So here, if you have a look, there's only a couple of extra planes that are utilized by the user. So the other thing too, if you're doing this, folks, you can label these as well. So in here, that could be, call it or shaft as an example. So you can label, and if you have a look, when I click on it, you can see it hiding down here. So descriptions always make a lot of sense later if you have to come back to it. Cool, so what I'll do, I'll just turn these off so you can see where my work planes live on this job. So feel free to give us some feedback on what you think of this idea. I'm always open to ideas. The only thing I could have done is maybe that plane there could have sat on the bottom if we knew that we were going to machine it or something like that. But if it's a brand new part, this will give you unlimited options here. Also, for the tree, it's a very healthy tree. I always do the fillets and the chamfers last. Cool. Alrighty. So what we'll do now, folks, let's have a look at the, well, actually, yeah, I'll give you guys a couple of seconds for some questions if you like. We've got a little bit of time. Just raise your hand and I'll talk to you. All good? Cool. So probably if the main thing, I'll just talk about this for a few more seconds more. The main idea of this is that if this has to fit another part in an assembly, the idea is that if it gets wider on either side, no problem because you've modeled it from the middle this way. If it gets longer in this axis, same story again, you're in the middle. And if it gets longer this way, no problem because you can extend it that way or that way without a problem. And you can use an axis through the middle here as well, no problem. So if I even go to my origin here, if I go to we've got the x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis. If I turn that on, if you have a look, there's an automatic center line where the whole thing revolves around. See this? So that's another good reason to model everything from the center. So let's move on to the BIM Export Tools. So does anyone here have to collaborate with other bits of software? Just let me know. We'll help you get out of Inventor into another environment via the BIM exchange. So we'll cruise down here. You have a look. This one here. If you have a look here, you've got the BIM Content the BIM Content tab on the ribbon. And over here, we've got heaps of different options. We've got cable tray connectors, electrical conduit, ducting if you have to do it. In this case, we've picked a pipe connector. And also there's electrical connections there as well. So we'll go through and we'll set this up. So at the moment, we've got an assembly here of a few different solid bodies. So let's do it. So we'll go pipe connector, right? And if you want to write this down in your notebooks, if you're watching along with us, what this is going to export is a .adsk file, and that will allow you to bring it into other bits of software and continue on with the design in the other discipline. So what it's asking now is a face or an edge to select. So we've got circular in this case because it's flange. And what we'll do, we'll pick the inside edge like that. And you can see in the preview here, it's showing us that that is made a connection. Now we actually get to add the metadata to this, which is interesting. So let's have a look. We've got domestic cold water, fire protections, hydronic return, other, sanitary undefined. So I normally go other in this case because I know what I'm going to send this thing to. And if you have a look, this is all of the properties that you can set before it even gets to the second bit of software. So you can see also it's actually picked up intelligently the diameter, the inside diameter of that pipe. So if that's got a connecting piece in the other software, no problem. So we'll go okay. Now we've got it. Now the next thing we can do is we'll go to export building components. So this is where we get it out of Inventor into the rest of the world. So we'll click on that one. Right, if you have a look here, I've got two options. We've got Revit family files, which is great. So you can go straight into Revit from Inventor, which is interesting. A lot of the time they will have, you know, large air conditioning, industrial air conditioning units and stuff, plant, or it could be, you know, sanitary plants and stuff built into buildings, lots of pipes and tanks and things. But the other option is also, if you have a look here, IFC. So if you get out an IFC file, just put your hand up if you've got to use that. And the next one here is the one I use the most, is Autodesk Exchange file. So you could almost call it like, these are the modern .dxf style communication tools for other bits of software. So I'll click on this one and I'll put it on the desktop. Go save. And there it is, loading out now. So I'll just give that a second or two. And luckily today I do have a second bit of software open. Oh, we won't worry about that. I do actually have a second bit of software open that we can open it in, just to say that we've gone from one to the next. Let's have a look. So can you guys see this screen? Just let me know if you can't. All right, guys, can you see the dark screen now? Okay, cool. Thanks, Ian. Awesome. So what I've got here, this is the second bit of software. This could be anything, of course. This could be Revit. This could be, I know I've got Plant 3D open at the moment. So if you guys are into doing process plant work, let me know as well. Here is an import tool. So I'll grab this. And on the desktop, I'll have my ADSK hiding here. There he is there. So I'll click on that one. That's the one we've just sent out. Go open. So if you have a look here, I'll just bring this in close here. and I'll drop it in there. Right, and it's asking me to orientate the thing, but that's okay. Straight away, you can see if this, imagine if this was a tank or a pump or something like that, it's going to ask me what piece of equipment is it. So this is all the information coming across from Inventor into the second bit of software. So in this case, we'll call it miscellaneous. Obviously, we've got lots of options here. We'll go select. Cool. And if I select it now in this bit of software, the current bit of software I've got at the moment, it's actually intelligently accepted the component and it wants to start doing its thing. It wants to start routing pipe. So in here, I can click on this tool here and I can actually set it to whatever I want. And see the cool thing, folks, look at this here. It's actually brought through, so in the imperial world, it looks like 24-inch, but in our metric world, 600 millimeters, exactly the same, right? So yeah, it's a good bit of gear. So folks, I'll just close this off for a moment. And we'll go back to our other screen, just make sure you can see it. There we go. Now, I do have 5 minutes, folks, so please send through any questions that you'd like. Just raise your hand or just literally type me a question. I'll be here for the next 5 minutes if you like. Is there, here we go, question. Is there a way to customize the drawing template in Inventor? Actually, yes, there is. That's a really great question. What you'll need to do is you'll probably need to go back on a project level. I'll show you quickly a bit about how to drill into it. We go back to home. In here, we'll go projects. What you'll need to do is go into the styles library and check up everything there as well. I do actually have one that I've got set up for a client I've done here in Tassie. Yeah, so there is a bit of work to do there. Probably get in touch with us and we can step you through that for sure. I have found it, to be honest with you, a little bit more awkward than setting up a drawing template in AutoCAD. So I think we've got, if we click on this one here, down the bottom here, you've got drawing resources. So you'll need to drill into here. You've got the sheet formats, right? So they're pre-loaded in there. So first you probably set the sheet size. And then what I found really awkward is the border, which is this thing here, the border is separate to the title block. So what Autodesk is calling the title block in Inventor is actually this piece down here, strangely. So normally where they're together, they've actually got two separate ones there. Also, they have a folder in here where you can store symbols as well, which is pretty useful. So if we click on, let's go here, let's have a look. Let's go edit. There you go. That's what you're dealing with. Can you see that all right? Okay, yeah, definitely get in touch. There's a fair bit to it. It's pretty long-winded, but we can get through it. We'll give you a hand. Any other questions, guys, girls? Yeah, no worries. It's a bit of a weird one. I'll show you the borders there as well. If you have a look, someone's done a lot of work in this thing to trying to set it up. What I have found though, you can kind of import the AutoCAD stuff. If you have a look, there's an AutoCAD import button, so you can actually import the AutoCAD file over the top, but you do need to separate the title block and the border for some strange reason in Inventor. I don't really like it, but it's how it is on this particular program. Anyone else? Also, guys and girls, if you get a chance, check out our schedule if you would like to do some training with us. There is some online stuff that they're offering, but we also do basic courses. I even find I get a lot of advanced people doing the courses here now as well, just for a bit of a top up. Or if you need customized on-site, we can facilitate that as well. I find I travel Australia and New Zealand and a lot of other places now doing custom on-site, because some people know some things, some people know other things, and we can tailor the training to suit your needs anyway. All right, folks, I really hope you enjoyed it. I love doing this job and teaching other people. I've been started from pretty humble beginnings in AutoCAD about 20 years ago, so I always love sharing my tips and tricks, and hopefully you guys get to take advantage of it, and less clicks per day, right, folks? All right, I'll sign off if you don't have any more questions. Thank you very much for attending, and maybe we'll see you on the next one.